If she just owned that, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a fat piece of shit so I can hang out with these people and be famous, and that's my thing. Just own it.
Amy Schumer on Jimmy Kimmel. It was in my Apple News. It was in my YouTube trending feed, despite the fact that I did not click anything. I did not click a like icon or a star.
You did not consent
to anything similar to that at all. No, there was zero consent, and it was thrust into every news feed. So question of the day.
I don't like the word thrust.
Is it beating a dead horse, or is Amy Schumer relevant anymore? I know that's kind of a mean question, but I guess the real question too becomes, and I want to hear your feedback, where does the comedy shtick end and just a terrible person begin? And I have a lot of leniency for comedy, but the difference is when you step out like Amy Schumer has and shamed people on Instagram and talked about being a proud feminist and you know, sort of being this I wouldn't say catalyst, but being an ambassador for the body pride movement.
Spokesperson.
At what point is there some liability? I take responsibility when I actually try to discuss factual issues, or if I sit there with Naomi Wolf, I'm not just going to make a joke if it's about something that is actually statistically observable. So I want to know where that line is for you and whether it's blurred with Amy Schumer. But here's what really bothers me about Amy Schumer, and I realize what it is. They hold her out as this example of a strong example for women, not only feminists, but for young women. And she is literally doing all of the things that are guaranteed to make women, to lead young women into being unhappy. She encourages other women to engage in behavior that will make them completely miserable. Let's go to the first portion. I'm sure this won't surprise you.
I know people just think like I stand on stage and talk about my vag, but I also...
Yes.
Well, it is on your LinkedIn profile.
That's true.
Some may say that's your calling
I know
card.
there's
Yes.
different sizes of tampons, obviously, but nobody's ever like confronted me like, what's the circumference of your, like, what's your, do you have a big hole?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, because if someone takes a picture with you, you call it
hole in your
harassment.
Like, do something in a gaping? How about gaping? How about gaping days?
Set your stopwatch. It's 15 seconds before it goes to that with Amy Schumer. Let's be beyond the whole one note thing, though. But right away, what's one of the first things? Promiscuity, right? Being extra slutty. Check. Which, of course, we know leads to being more unhappy. But a lot of people thought, before we move on, that Jimmy Kimmel had gotten back onto the comedy bandwagon. Like, oh, okay, that's a funny quip. He wasn't joking.
No.
We actually checked Amy Schumer's LinkedIn profile.
For sure.
Yeah, it's there. If you look, she lists under strengths, jokes about vagina, intercourse with strangers, Old Navy commercials, taking offense, filling leather jackets, playing victim, and under weaknesses, face. And then if you look at experience, she wrote, every man south of 36th Street. And so
I don't even know what that means.
Well, you know what? Listen, it was a layup for Jimmy Kimmel. So she's talking about, right, this whole slutty thing. And if you look at what I'm proud, well, I don't have to be what women have told me to be. I don't have to be a shrinking violet. I don't have to be in the kitchen. Well, no, but you also don't have to be an absolute predatory whore. So research found, and you know what? Actually, I think people have gone back and watched this. I got into an argument with Amy Schumer a while back. I wrote a column about how, just personally, my wife and I, we waited until we were married. We're Christians like that. That's what we did. You don't have to, but I wrote about the benefits of that and how it was a societal taboo. Look at Amy Schumer back then. She was like, by the way, she was like 30 then. So, I mean, she was cute. She was cute enough. So it's what you see before you is clearly a choice. The researchers found that casual sex is negatively associated with well-being and positively associated with psychological distress. There are other studies. We'll have you can go search all these sources. More than half of wives who had only ever slept with their future husband felt highly satisfied in their marriage. The portion dropped to 42%. And then almost plummeted to 22% for those who had 10 or more partners. These aren't coming from Christian think tanks. Yeah, there is a statistical correlation. Not if you just have sex with someone in a long-term relationship. Like I said, my choice doesn't necessarily have to be your choice, but it is statistically undeniable that if you go around and act like Amy Schumer, you're probably going to be miserable. But there's more. Let's go to the next clip.
You know, I've been doing TV and movies for a little, and you have to, you know, not drink as much.
We know.
It's gonna be, yeah, well, in a close-up, well, here we've got like the Barbara Walters lighting, so it doesn't matter. But on movies, is this a sensitive news? No, it's just she has really good lighting. If you were ever on The View, you know, it just like you can't even. You're just eyes in a floating head.
I've never felt more beautiful than on The View.
So gorgeous.
I feel like I'm haunting the show.
I know. I'm like, am I a 10 on The View?
And this is why people don't respect her when it comes to political issues. It's not because you don't, when she says, you know, I never really knew anything about guns, but now I'm supporting gun control.
No.
It's because your entire shtick, when it's not about being slutty, is about being superficial and vain.
Right? The whole time.
That's all you ever talk about until you decide to get on your political or feminist soapbox. So vanity, check. Again, we're going down the list of things that'll make young ladies miserable. Don't forget, she's a strong woman. Let's look up to her or look around her. Let's go to the next clip.
It kind of backfires, I think, on the trolls, because the other day somebody tweeted about me, Amy Schumer's body looks like a bag of mashed potatoes. And I was like,
correct.
Okay, now I need mashed potatoes. You know? Anyway, anyone I know who's done a play said you can get really hammered and you wake up late and it's just a good schedule.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
a healthy way of approaching it.
It's good, because I'm planning on, I had a really cool weight gain last winter. Like, has anyone ever had the kind of weight gain where, like, your coats don't fit? You know, not if it's your pants.
Planning to have one this
No.
week.
Exactly. This is the week
I've
to
never
do it.
had
but
that
if
at
it's
all.
your jeans, you're like, they shrunk. But if it's like a pea coat, you know,
Does that worry you? Like,
if I gain or lose weight?
No, not if you gain or lose weight, but just being in kind of a, I don't know, unhealthy situation.
Careful, Jimmy.
Sure, and
Careful.
especially like we're so blessed with the internet that people give you constant feedback on your looks. And so, and thank you for mean tweets promoting it.
By the way, she sits there and she smirks, but you know it makes her miserable.
Oh, she's so mad
You know,
too.
taking pride in being a fat bag of potatoes, which will make her extra unhappy because of her superficial life. So you know what bothers her more because everything is about vanity. Everything is superficial. It bothers someone less if it's like, oh man, I put on some winter weight, but I have a great wife, I have a great family, I really feel as though I'm growing intellectually, emotionally, spiritually. So you know what, I'll get back in the gym and I'll get on this. When your whole thing is, I'm a slut, and that's based on looks, which of course is just a deteriorating commodity, it's gonna make you extra unhappy, Miss Bag of Potatoes.
Zero self-awareness too. The zero self-awareness that she has to talk about these things. And you know, for her, there's such a lack of honesty because if she just would say, "Yeah, I'm going to own this market of the comedy club because I get to hang out."
She's going to be Roseanne Barr in
Oh
10
yeah,
years.
because I get to hang out with Jerry Seinfeld and Steve Martin like she shows
Right.
off and thing. Like, if she just owned that, like, yeah, I'm going to be a fat piece of shit so I can hang out with these people and be famous, and that's my thing. Just own it.
Yeah.
But don't act like you're not like that's not your thing.
Right, I know. Yeah, that is.
It's the fake pride that
Anything
pisses
you want
me
to
off.
add to that, Bill?
Look, I'm clearly too fat to be commenting on anybody doing anything.
I mean, it's kind of sad because she's sitting there joking, like, oh, yeah, it's fine. But you know it's not true, and she's obsessed. For someone who's I'm a strong woman, I don't care what you think. You talk about Twitter and about comments online more than anybody I
she's
know.
obsessed with it.
And that's not indicative of someone who's mentally well-adjusted, which, again, wouldn't be an issue if people weren't holding her out as an example of a strong woman. Guess what? No surprise here, overweight women are unhappy. They're more likely to be depressed. Here's a study. Obesity is associated with an approximately 25% increase in odds of mood and anxiety disorders. Now, anxiety seems self-explanatory because you're much more likely to die. That's at the top of your mind at all times. Your mortality. Men of normal weight have an increased 19 risk of death. Women have an increased 11% chance of death. Those who are moderately obese, that rises to 29.5%. It's just the statistics. People want to sit here and talk about Amy Schumer. I don't care what people think, if they think I look like a bag of potatoes. Okay, your doctor does. I don't care what people think that I'm getting drunk every night, choosing my career path based on this, and I'm sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Manhattan that I can find. Well, that's fine. Your OBGYN does. We can't ignore statistical realities and, of course, listen, biological realities as it relates to women in order to try and falsely push this idea, an example of what feminism should be to young women. And by the way, if you're going to try and pick an example of someone to look up to for young women, feminists, the slutty 40-something-year-old who picks a Broadway show so she can drink all night and happens to be on the edge of morbidly obese, probably not the #1 draft pick.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Hey, did you like this video? Of course you did. Unless there's something wrong with you, in which case you can comment below. What's your problem with this video? We want to hear from you, and we promise you 100%, I give you, my word is my bond, we'll answer every single negative comment. For those who are normal, you can leave a thumbs up and subscribe.